And is Greg gonna be here tonight?
No, I just texted him.
Okay.
He said he was gonna try to make it. You responded to the text.
But getting kid, then we'll be here. But start the meeting. You are live.
Call tonight's meeting to order. Roll call. Ennis. Here. Jaquitz. Here. And I am here. Beavers is absent at the moment. Is there any public comment?
Nope.
A motion for last month's minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve last month's minutes.
I'll second that. Any opposed? Great, motion carried.
You guys got my emails. Spending periodically all. I had done that last month, so we go back and look at it again, to make sure. So, I know. First term, you probably won't be able to help with that because it's all last year's stuff we did, so.
Nice review.
I didn't know if you guys, I left anything out.
I don't think so. I think it hit all the real big, I mean, last year was pretty much maintenance code
Yeah.
and.
Yeah.
Well, maintenance code,
It
Yeah.
really was.
yeah, survey,
Certainly.
Yeah, which is part of the.
master plan.
Yeah.
Yeah, there, I know I was.
This year was a pretty good year though, because the year before, 2 years ago, it was like. We didn't do anything.
Yeah. Yeah,
It was a really slow year that.
well, I will make the motion to approve the 2025 Planning Commission report.
I'll second that.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
So, capital improvement. Well, the planning commission is supposed to look over. You would come up with ideas of who to recommend to the city council. I put in what. Well, actually, it starts with the staff. They're supposed to kind of brainstorm. And then goes to the planning commission and it goes to council. So, that was still what I put in there is kind of what we've started with. We're still waiting, for C2AE in the big report that they're doing from sidewalks and all that stuff. So we're still kind of working on it, but when we started, make sure it's getting done and making sure that it's not something you guys want to add to it. Because I believe it's gonna go to council. That's not so. On to get it moving, even though we're not quite ready to finalize it. Thinking about it.
Cause it should, I know we've been unorthodox in the past, but to follow the charter, we should go to the CIPG committee. Which department heads and then
Yeah.
council representative. Then it goes to planning?
It usually goes to planning after.
Well, usually.
Department heads, yeah, because when they recommend, like, if you guys have something that you want to see in CIP, then you recommend that to the council. And then basically the council is the one who states, yeah, this is what our priorities are, this is what we want, this is what we want to see.
I just wanna make sure that this year we're checking the boxes based on the way we're supposed to be doing it in the
Right.
charter, just in case we ever do. Run into a situation where we need to say, hey, yep, did we follow the correct steps?
Right, and we also are kind of behind because of the D2A, we're waiting on that. And then they're gonna, then we give that to the other guy who's doing the lagoons, which is. We're kind of stuck with not having too many projects because of the lagoons, but we're gonna have to pay for that. There's not gonna be probably a lot of spending until we figure out just how much that's going
Be
to
a
cost.
funding issue.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, but you know, we still have to have things planned, because
Mhm.
things go. But I now changed the whole format and how it was done before. She tried to make it easier to read, easier to see.
It's easier. to-
Yeah, the other one was kind of, you know, rap and. So I felt like this was a little bit more reading, but. That's it in. Better understanding of what. Needs to be done.
Yeah. It's really nice. The first paragraph, just ever change the name of the town.
Different sound out
Yeah,
there.
Pleasant Ridge.
Oh.
It's got a nice ring to it.
Yeah, I know.
It's just like a pleasant ring. Sorry.
It's probably where she stole it from, that's what we do. We don't invent the wheel, that's for sure over here.
Repurpose.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it could be March when council. Waiting on. So. And then there is a part of the CIP that goes into the master plan. Right, they like reference it kind of.
Really, I think the most important thing is that the items within the CIP plan, like coincide with kind of some of the goals you're created in this master plan.
Right.
And the idea is, I mean, we wrote those goals broad enough that a lot of the improvements that are listed in that list should fall somewhere.
Right. Yeah.
Nothing's done. He resigned.
Yeah, because I just term was up. Oh, and he didn't. He was looking at spending.
Yeah, you think it would be possible, and I can talk to Janelle if she's doing that, if we could just list every one of the individual projects, like in an Excel spreadsheet and then code it
Yeah,
by.
she does have one
does
like that,
do that,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. I think this is just, you know. It's more of. Like, I think she has it all. in
This is a
another-
great presentation, yeah, this is nice.
Yeah.
I just think when we get to, and probably more on the council, and when we look at budgeting, if we could kind of see them and
You know
start
exactly where we
picking
are
it
at.
out and then ranking them and say, well, how much would all the number ones cost if we
Right.
did it this year, and then.
Yeah,
Based on the surveys, I think as long as every year we're just putting something back into parks, sidewalks.
Yeah.
Try to check the boxes that the people were commenting, really important to them, that
yeah,
doing our job there.
I think too, with. The DDA too, I think it would be wise to have them take a look. At this. Normally they don't, you know, they have their own projects and stuff, but they will help out. They see that there's a need for something that's in the DDA district, then they can take on it, because right now they really don't have. Any big projects going on and they really need to be. So I may give it to them just so they can take a look at it, see if there's anything in there that they may be interested in doing. Like they've done it before, like the parking lots. stuff like that, so. And they don't have anything going on, so. Spend some money.
Well-
And they have quite a bit, so.
That'd be nice too, to be able to break it down and group it, and then by source of funding, have columns, so we can kind of figure out, you
Yeah,
know, are some of these grant eligible, can we?
yeah,
look
we do have that,
Yeah.
cause, I mean, those are totally, you know, grant stuff that we wrote grants for, maybe not have gotten them, but.
Mhm.
You know, like mostly the parks, those are more available, wise. Some of them are, some of them are just,
We're-
I mean,
yeah.
I've looked for the lagoons, I mean, we've tried, just don't. Along very rarely, and most of the time it's for water, that's. Sewer, so. That wouldn't be a miracle to get one for that, but. The parks and stuff like that, there's always opportunities for us to. Write grants, I did write the T-Mobile grant for $50,000 for. Clintock, but that one's kind of we're kind of hindered because we're not. Low income area. A lot of those grants are. Okay, you know, the median. Are kind of high in that. Well, kind of grants that are tough. But there's so many of those, so. Have to keep looking at it.
So. Our action on this, basically, I mean, we. This is going to a couple other,
Yeah, I mean, it's just to get you thinking and looking, seeing what's on there, add anything. You know, it's gonna depend on what kind of waiting in that. Thing before we actually pull things together and present it to councils.
so this is gonna come back to us.
Yeah,
And then we'll-
that's my guess. is
Yeah.
that We'll get that, then we'll come back here. And then. Go. To. So it may be. Much, but we'd like to have it done and completed before. The budget. This goes with budget.
Because that CIPG committee should give everything a ranking, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Because then it'll come back and we'll see what they think are the most important things on the list.
Is there anything, I mean, in reviewing this, is there anything that anybody feels should be included that is not? On, looking at the last. Looking at the last. 2 pages, listing the accomplishments from 2011 up to present. There's a lot of this stuff.
If we're.
That had
Again
been-
now.
Well, yeah. But there was a lot of this stuff that had continued to be on this, that just was always on it, and was
Yeah.
always in the plan.
Yeah, we get pushed,
That is pushed through.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
And the only thing that I can think of is the boardwalk at the park at the Kentucky Force, just because of how it's 25 years old, it's such a deteriorating. You know, we've talked about it a little bit, but at some point in time, we need to rip that out, and rebuild it, but it's starting to rot out, and just holes getting into it's gonna be dangerous.
you like parks and.
Yeah, it's what Parks and Recs and kind of that stuff.
Trails. Which, been looking for that. Trails. Grants too, I haven't seen any. Because of the boat launch, we have one opportunity to get a grant like that.
Right. Be cool if we could figure out a way to connect all the parks too.
Yeah.
Well, I was talking about that as well, so.
Yeah, there's not a sidewalk that connects that, is that walking trail?
Nope.
That would be nice to at least have them all walkable.
Yeah.
That would kind of tie into that. Very.
Yeah.
You at least do the one side and then
Mhm.
cross.
Yeah. My worst case would be always look at the east side of Woodbury, try to make that trail go through the. But they'd have to cross either Woodbury or Grand River, like right at the intersection, which could be problematic.
Yeah. Seems like some of the stuff on the list is like the kayak launch, that's pretty much complete.
Yeah.
Is that on here just because you haven't? finished
Yeah, I
the-
think if, when she put it together, it was still, when she was adding things to it and those things, may be moved, to that list of being completed and.
Yeah, hopefully that should be paid by the time we approve the next budget, so
Yeah.
that should be able to come off.
Yes.
I think some of one of the road projects in the parking lot are done too. I mean, we reserved a little bit of the budget, but the middle school parking lot's on here.
Oh, yeah,
So
and
there's-
that's, still, we're, not completed, but builds and stuff like that are
yeah,
still.
okay. I would say the only thing on here that I would see that I would add, other than the walking path and nature trail, would be nice to call out a few additional smaller sidewalk projects. Like.
Which will, once we get that real clear,
C280,
yeah,
yeah,
Yeah.
just put names on,
Yeah.
this section of town. Cause I think, again, maybe a more of a council issue, but if we could, once we get it approved, let.
Yeah.
People know, hey, this is the plan issue.
right. Yeah, the whole CIP thing goes in on the website, but.
One thing to point out, page 24, G1 police. Second bullet, the AED, I just so happen to know that the Shiawassee Regional Chamber of Commerce has an AED grant program right now. That's the Shiawassee Community Foundation supported by the Rural Healthcare Foundation. It doesn't have a lot of money in it. It's the
Right.
first time that we're doing it, but it's only eligible for nonprofits and government entities, and there'll be a scoring rubric as far as need and volume and that sort of thing. So it could be an opportunity to help to break
Yeah,
a part of it.
And
Applications are due February 9th.
Dan has his AEDs already.
they're new.
Yeah.
Did you just get them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's-
So is this one of the things on here that needs to be just shipped it to the whole?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Most of them I had, so.
Well, maybe for the schools, because I know they've been. Did they have one? Do you know?
The high school, yeah, they have, high school has three. I believe they have one in the main hall, sports hall. And they usually have, they have one out by the baseball field, and they usually have one that's traveling.
Oh,
I usually got one when I had away matches, because I would take our AD, and at the course, I would take the one out of the hallway, I believe, but I have them at the course now, so. Yeah, at least the high school has them. I would imagine they were required at the middle school and the elementary school to have them. I just don't know how many they have.
Okay.
The high school has at least three, that I know.
Good.
Now, the other thing that we can look at for AEDs, it's not really us, but the churches. I don't know if the churches would have an AED. Especially with the Baptist getting the basketball court is getting rented out more since they don't only have a school. They have one on site there in case of, I know they're holding tournaments for the ballers. Oh, not the Red Cedar, but the baller. I can talk to Brian about that, just to see if there's any. Yeah, there's some that regional chambers, if they're having something that might help you get one.
And it's a rather flexible grant where it's not just AEDs, it's also priority equipment oftentimes.
Okay.
Like pediatric paddles cost $500 to replace if we use them once or they expire. Because some
Right.
people can get the AED, but then keeping it updated is
Current,
really
yeah.
hard. And so, yeah, the scoring rubric is right on the form on our mass email and stuff. But if there's anybody that I can get in touch with directly, don't hesitate to connect me or something along to them, because we're gonna be looking at governments, churches, nonprofits,
Mhm.
and looking at highest best use, because the resources are very limited.
Gotcha.
But like,
Well-
didn't they make it that's our idea, maybe get them because they had to have cars now.
Yeah,
Didn't he have to replace
his
them?
were
Yeah.
expiring.
But I think now he has to have one in his car.
Yes. Yeah, because I think he has three or, he has three. I imagine both police cars and probably either on the site or something, and then of course ambulances.
Yeah.
Our goal, having limited resources, is if we can determine what the need is, we're gonna be able to go back to funders next year and say, hey, we were only able to do 2 because of the resources. There's 7 that are lined up that are ready to go. Here's the need, and that's just gonna be a more compelling case. And so this is kind of year 1 data gathering at a
Right.
small amount. So yeah, if you don't even send it my way.
Any other comments on the CIP? So I think that we can basically table that and then
Yep.
it comes back to us. All right,
Did I give you a file folder for the master plan?
Mhm.
Okay, great.
I do have one question on that, let's say if Danelle's version or the spreadsheet, if we could put in there also percentage completion, just so that we know if something is at 90%. So
Okay.
that we can, so when I look at it cold, I can see how far along and not spend too much time thinking about it if we know it's on the 5-yard line.
I know several people on council have asked for that too.
Okay,
Just so we could get like quarterly updates on it, so. Someone stops you in the street, oh yeah, 50% done. Kayak launch, whatever that is, that's gotta be,
90%.
yeah.
right, and that'll bring us to the master plan.
Perfect. I know last time me and Mike were here, it's a pretty long meeting, not the goal for tonight, tonight's be very quick, so. Pretty much today is just kind of recap what we went over at the last meeting, and then there's one new chapter for us to look at and discuss. And we're getting closer to the end of this now, so exciting. So today we brought you you'll see chapter 7. This is the draft goals and objectives chapter based on the goals we reviewed at the last meeting. So I incorporated the changes we talked about when I pulled this chapter together. Again, the changes, none of them were very substantial. It was just kind of like little grammar things or sentence structure here and there. So I've pulled that chapter together for you. Do you have any questions about the goals from last time or any comments? The only thing that's still to come on this draft goals chapter that you'll see when you have the full rough draft is when we reviewed the goals, we had made note if it, referenced or coincided with another plan the city has. Those will be getting added in within this document, like there'll be like little items that, reference the other plan. So that will get added in. I just wanted to give you the bulk of the chapter to look at.
And this is something if we took home and read in detail, we could just let them know, oh, hey, we're not sure about goal 7B. And then we still have a chance to update it.
Oh, for sure, for sure. You guys have the opportunity to make edits to this plan all the way up to the public hearing. So yes, there's plenty of time to review still. I just wanted to get you a draft chapter to kind of start to look at. So that one's pretty quick, nothing too hard. And then last meeting, we spent a very good chunk of time talking about future land use in the city and what that would look like. And so I have brought you guys an updated draft future land use map, as well as the draft future land use chapter that goes along with that. In this chapter, we talk about each of the categories. And within each of those categories, we kind of break it down and we'll talk about general characteristics you would expect to see in that area. appropriate land uses, design features you would hope to see, as well as what the compatible zoning district would be. So that's kind of how that chapter has been set up for each zoning district. And I feel the most notable changes that we had talked about at the last meeting that I have incorporated into this map are I've added a new category called the residential cluster housing category, specifically for that. There's two pieces of land in particular, one being at the intersection of Grand River and Woodbury, where it's primarily undeveloped land now. We'll talk about maybe some future housing there, but we've noted, there's probably significant, natural features that could inhibit housing development. And so the idea being, should I cluster housing in, one or two areas of the lot and preserve natural features where it can. So that was the idea behind that category. And then the other small change I made is previously we had a residential open space category. And I've changed that slightly to, instead of being residential open space, it's going to be recreation and open space preservation, because we had noted a couple parcels of land throughout the city that we don't anticipate development happening on because of natural features present. So we wanted to preserve those areas. So that was the other change I had made to the map. And again, you guys don't have to give me comment right at this very moment. I know it's a lot to try and digest and understand, so plenty of time to review. And if you have any other additions you want to see or ideas, we have time to incorporate that.
If some of us who are newer to the community, I literally need to drive around, so what I'm looking at.
I'd like to introduce myself. I'm Jordan Nicholas. I'm now 31 minutes.
You came in at a very rough time for this, because we've been at this for quite a while now and we're getting to the end of the process. So I do apologize, because
No, you're
it
fine.
probably would have been easier to understand from the start. I'm sure it's hard to pick up halfway through.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll find out toward the end. But could you give me a quick UR here on the map? Like where are we? Is this meeting number 4?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so, I guess I could explain the binder too, Steve. We're here for the binder introduction. So when we started this master plan process, we gave everyone binders, and each tab corresponds to a meeting that we have had. And so we are on third meeting now. Yep, and so the packet of master plan materials that you had, you can put into this binder.
Okay.
Under meeting 3 to kind of help keep it organized. I'm assuming you probably don't have prior meetings information.
It looks like I do.
Oh, you do? That's great.
Yeah.
That works out really well.
Yep.
So yeah, you got some homework to do then. Like, good job. Yeah, so you can put all of this in meeting 3. And then what was your specific question? I'm sorry. I just started.
That was it. Just
Oh, okay.
you are here and,
Okay.
and where is the goal line?
Yeah, so this process kind of started, a while ago, and we talked as a group about issues within the community and drafted survey questions and reviewed demographic data, and that informed then a public survey we put out. And so at the last meeting, we came back and we reviewed all of that survey data. And based on that, we drafted goals and objectives. We looked at how land use currently exists within the city, and then used that as well as, our survey results to inform kind of how we see the future of development in the city. And so that's that future land use that we're talking about right now. And then, both of those items are going to move into the next thing we're going to do tonight, which is just talking about implementation. And so how are we going to get this vision that we have crafted over the past year implemented within the city? And so for that, we have given you a draft working chapter of that as well, which is going to be chapter 9. And this is implementation strategy. This chapter has quite a few different components to it. the first piece of this is required, by the Planning Enabling Act, and this is the zoning plan. So in this, we have to talk about future land use in the city in those categories and how they're going to correspond and correlate with your zoning districts. Because zoning is one of the key ways to implement the ideas and the vision we're drafting in this plan. And so the first page of the chapter, we have a little table here and we go over your zoning districts and how they correspond to future land use. This is also within the future land use chapter as well. And with that, then we also go into some recommendations, both zoning amendment as well as just other recommendations of things you guys can do as a city to help implement some of these goals we've come up with. So I'm not gonna read all of these word for word, but some of the ideas just to get you thinking would be, reviewing your zoning ordinance and what uses are permitted within each district to ensure that they align with kind of how you see those districts developing in the future, or, updating your zoning ordinance to include, more tables and graphics to kind of ease with the use of that document. Reviewing kind of housing densities within the zoning ordinance and, what types of housing are permitted where, because I know that's kind of been a huge item we talked about over the course of this plan. So those are just kind of some of the brief ideas we talked about within these zoning amendment recommendations and, additional recommendations here. So after tonight's meeting, over the next month or so, as you guys read through these, if you come up with any other ideas or you have something that you're like, oh, this might work, please feel free to share that with me. And happy to add it to this list or kind of expand upon something maybe we've already talked about. This is kind of just to get you thinking a little bit. The main focus of tonight's meeting, however, is going to be looking at these implementation tables. So we've taken the goals and objectives from our last meeting and we've now turned them into table format. And really this just helps you with implementing these goals. So within the tables, each objective will have a time frame listed, we'll have a responsible body, and we'll have a funding source. Some of these objectives are going to take a group of people. It's going to be more than just one person helping to implement them. And same with funding. It could be a number of different ways it's funded, but it's just trying to get you guys going and give you a checklist as you work through this. And what I really would like to do with you guys tonight is kind of go through each of these objectives and pick a time frame that you think each of these are going to happen in. And again, this is a guide, a lot of things go into implementing these, resources available at the city, the funding that's available. So you don't have to follow it exactly. It's just kind of take a starting point, if you will. And so the timeframes we're going to work through are short term, which is, we see something happening in 1 to 5 years, medium term, 5 to 10, long-term goals, 10+ years, or something could be ongoing. I see many of these honestly being ongoing and just something that you guys are continually working toward. But I didn't want to go through and pick for yourself, pick all of these for you because you guys live here. You guys know when you think things are going to be able to happen. And so that's what our next activity is. So there's a couple different ways we can do this. If you want, I can just go through and read the objectives and then we can kind of talk about what we think the time frame will be. That might be the easiest.
I agree.
Perfect. So let's start with housing. So we have enforce zoning and property maintenance regulations to ensure a quality housing stock in the city.
Short term.
Short term.
We've already passed the maintenance code.
Mhm.
I talked to Dan. Well, every 2 weeks for the last 2 months about when we're gonna start enforcing. I keep hearing soon.
So maybe that's an
Ongoing.
It's going to happen short term.
Okay.
Because he's told me he's gonna do it at the latest spring. He's gonna start issuing citations.
Yeah.
So we should be able to get a cleanup going very quickly and it'd be short / ongoing.
Short flash on them.
But it
Immediate
should-
action, but.
Yeah, I hope so, yeah. Yeah. Been a long time coming.
Mhm.
Okay, next one we have create flexible regulations that encourage a variety of housing types in the city to meet a diverse range of populations. So this one, we're kind of thinking about when we might look at the zoning ordinance, maybe amendment that could happen. See that happening in maybe 1 to 5 years or 5 to 10 years.
I say 1 to 5. Yeah. Fairly fast.
Okay, next one, promote the reuse and rehabilitation of existing residential structures to preserve the historic feel of housing to the city. Again, going.
I'm not sure for a time frame on it, so like we all the properties.
I think ongoing, because when someone comes up, you may look at it and say, how can we help them restore it or get looking better? Businesses downtown come and go. And
Identify and promote the expansion of residential housing at key locations along the perimeters. I feel like that's another one kind of similar to the one we just looked at, maybe where it's, you know, something that not necessarily a time frame associated with, but
Yeah, but that's something that we're actively working on, talking about the, um. The land use map. So I mean, I think that's something that we're. I mean, it would be ongoing, but there's only so much space to work with. They have to do something with it or just keep calling it ongoing.
Yeah, I think that's the tough thing. I think the vast majority of us. Yeah, if it was available, we would definitely encourage it. Meaning, right, I think most of these would be short if we have a say in it. So. It's a tough part of this.
if they develop zoning regulations and plans that support single-family residential subdivision development where appropriate, while ensuring neighborhoods are connected to the city's downtown, schools, and recreation opportunities. This one comes back again to when do you think you guys will start to review kind of some of those zoning regulations that you have? Where
I'd say 1 to 5.
Okay.
We keep it on our radars, we just get the zoning board to start looking at these things and city council kind of push on it. All right, let's get this stuff updated so we can, you know, what little land there's available out there, so we need to change it or just like the farmland if they want to switch it over. So
Who's on so?
who's on the mine zoning?
He's on the board of review.
Yeah.
I don't know, zoning, yeah, I don't appoint zoning.
No, it's not.
No.
Like, I don't think that, yeah, that's. Jeremy said something.
I guarantee I'm not.
That has been so long. Oh, it's, Jessica. What street? Jennifer. Jennifer, and then.
Chuck.
No. You've been on forever.
Can the council
Then-
take
oh.
zoning and make a recommendation?
Yeah, council can always.
And red line.
Red line.
Red line.
So, yeah. I'd
I
say
mean,
1 to
that's
5.
kind of, we've talked about this before, you know, as far as rehauling our zoning, because we're pretty flexible when people do come, we usually will, you know, we're not real strict, so if somebody comes in and wants something special, it usually passes. And so, yeah, we've talked about like, we're pretty, we're not, I don't think the boards and everybody that has anything to do with it are pretty lenient in letting people do things if they want to do it.
That was like one of the recommendations we made, is to kind of look at over the past like, few years or so, all of the things that have come to you guys and kind of things that people were asking for that was maybe not permitted within your zoning ordinance or.
Yeah, that we let go or we let happen.
Yeah, and kind of like look at the trends you see with that, because that also can help.
Yeah.
Manage you guys choose
We
to.
don't have too much, actually, it's not, and we really aren't that. We haven't had that many, at least since I've been here, there's only been maybe a handful of. Requests or zoning issues, so it's,
There really, there hasn't been the entire time that
yeah,
there hasn't been a ton of.
Yeah.
Variance requests,
right. Usually it's like, the last one was Rhodabeck, being able to build the garage back where it was a 10 foot away. So we passed that, let him do that, but most of them are pretty mild, nothing. Thing huge has come across. So, yeah, I think those zoning boards got together maybe once a year since I've been here. So they don't have to do a whole lot. But yeah, and overhauling the whole zoning probably does need to be redone and eventually and updated to what the housing issues are right now.
Yes, a question, in your opinion, would the lack of variances or request for variances give you any information or insight as to other things maybe?
Not necessarily. I feel like normally the biggest insights you can take away is when you see an excessive variance request. Sure. Because that kind of can tell you like maybe where challenges are currently within your zoning, how it's being developed in the city. I wouldn't say the lack of variance English is hard. I wouldn't say the lack is anything to be concerned of. If anything, I think it's there's really, at least as how people are trying to develop the land, there's not really issues with doing that.
Yeah, and I wouldn't say that it was an issue, but is there any insight into that if the zoning doing a pretty good job, but there's not people asking to do other things?
I would say so.
People aren't asking you to do anything.
Or nothing's happening.
Yeah,
Action,
yeah.
period. Yeah, there's nothing.
Yeah, that's my concern.
Okay.
People are just doing, yeah.
Oh, well, then there's that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, I see what you're saying, all right.
Yeah.
Also, too, you gotta remember here is there's not a ton of currently undeveloped land that can be developed, so I feel like that also plays a big part into the amount of requests you're seeing.
Yeah, I'm sure when they put the subdivision. The last subdivision was probably lots. And they may have actually done a variant or, redid the zoning at that time, probably because. They went in, well, there was 3 of them that went in pretty back to back, so. Probably the last time. Or overhauled it.
Continuing on, we have developed working relationships with surrounding communities concerning annexation, 425 agreements, and other mechanisms to allow for residential growth. This is most likely the reason. Coordinate land use patterns and growth management policies with surrounding communities to prevent loss of developed land for residential purposes. I did tell you, most of these are probably going to be efforts that you guys were going to continue to have to pursue. Okay, we have actively promote and market key development sites for sensible and attractive multifamily development.
I mean, we're doing that currently, kind of, so I'd say, yeah.
Those were all our housing objectives. Now we're moving on to downtown. Promote the redevelopment of the city's downtown business district by emphasizing urban revitalization and maintenance of the city's downtown.
And it's always ongoing.
We'll talk about this one a little bit tonight, but we have developed and enforced property maintenance code in the city to prevent decline of properties. Would be short / ongoing again.
Yeah.
So what we did.
You know, are they gonna be able to enforce that maintenance code on businesses the same as residential? Okay. Okay.
Encourage or fund services that can be utilized by the city and surrounding rural areas such as community events, parks, commercial recreation opportunities.
Short-term ongoing.
Sure. Utilize resources available as part of the redevelopment ready communities program in Michigan Main Street to continue to prioritize utilization of the downtown.
Short ongoing. Currently doing stuff.
Develop a coordinated vision for the downtown streetscape to ensure new development enhances and further develops downtown's identity.
I believe we have that, but I think it's part of the downtown plan.
Yeah.
Can you speak, isn't there, I thought streetscapes was something that was on,
Main Street. Program, I thought.
yeah.
I'll make,
I thought it was something that was addressable in the next, can't
yeah,
remember what I saw it in something.
the DDA usually, that with, well, and the one right before it where it talks about Main Street, that's the Main Street thing. Being down, developing the downtown streetscapes and promoting businesses and stuff like that. The main thing Main Street does. But we're not fully Main Street yet. We have most everything we have to do, so we need to do reports and stuff like that, but we're not fully Main Street. We're in the middle level, because to be fully Main Street, you have to hire some
Oh, yeah, that's right, yeah.
there. But we do all follow all the guidelines. Yeah.
Maybe short term, medium term.
I mean, I still think short-term and ongoing. Just because we're working with the DDA, they'll do a lot of the facade stuff for the streetscapes. I know they hired people to work on the flower beds now. I mean, they're getting that stuff done and then we can work with them as well, getting it through. It wouldn't stop, so get it going.
We have discouraged non-residential growth at the boundaries of the city that would detract from the viability of the town.
So this is basically saying that we would discourage people from bringing businesses in the outside of the town, like. I'm just thinking like down by, where the Sage used to be, we have that field right there. Is that suggesting that we discourage?
We're discouraging businesses to come to the cities. Obviously, you're always gonna want
Right.
that business in the city. I think we're discouraging kind of random, like, commercial businesses popping up in where, residential areas would be, that kind of pull people away from using the downtown. So I'm thinking like
Like a fast food restaurant.
your restaurants
Okay.
or that your like little small boutique shops that you would want within your downtown. And again, if you guys don't like the wording of that objective, if you are having thoughts about it, we can rework it a little bit.
I think it makes perfect sense to try to keep everything.
Closer.
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, just look at the state we're in right now, stretching everything out. Everything's viable.
I mean, like say. So a fast food wants to come in. There's not a lot of area to develop downtown is the issue. I wouldn't want to say, no, I don't want you here.
No, but I would, if they wanted to buy Veteran Hall,
Well, by all means, go ahead.
I could figure out.
Right, I mean, yeah,
some
we
creative ways to
would be
make
more
that-
trying to work with them, like, what about this building, this building, this building, but.
Which is always kind of, we kind of, anybody, any business has come, that's always been try to keep them downtown. They try to even get the dollar. Or to build behind Jen there,
Mhm.
you know, to try and keep them down there. Sometimes it didn't work out.
Yeah.
That did not.
No.
Well, but it could still be. Didn't work out, but it can still be a goal
Yeah, oh, yeah,
and an
yeah.
effort. Yeah.
And I think once people do have businesses and stuff, they realize the benefit from being downtown. I mean, we have a couple businesses right now that would love to be downtown, that are out there. I mean, right, building for them.
Mhm.
I mean, I do think there, you know, people are getting that, the downtown is walkable, you know, and staying more down here instead of, even though it's not very far. I think they just see the benefit from it.
I would say probably, I mean, this would be an ongoing thing,
Mhm.
just because businesses come in, we could say. Try to push them this way, but
Might try to rework this one a little bit based on kind of some of the discussion we're having right now to, kind of capture some of this. They have encouraged a vibrant and unique collection of shops and restaurants. They're working with economic development agencies to promote viable sites.
that's current, and I don't know.
Continue to work with property owners and developers in the downtown to develop or redevelop land into its uses that diversify housing. Okay, looking on to the economic development. They promote and market the city using a wide variety of tools, including updated websites, social media campaigns, and businesses.
I don't know. All that stuff is going on.
Capitalize on regional draws in the area such as Sleepy Hollow and Slate by direct promotion to groups utilizing these areas.
I don't know if we utilize Rose Lake enough. Oh no, in Sleepy Hollow, we try to tap into a lot. Rose Lake's about the same distance away as the other side. I don't know if we ever tap into it.
Direct promotion's tough there because they're not staffed, so
Right,
I'm not
there's
sure how
nothing-
you.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that's really there is the gun range that we could, well, we have the sportsman club, so we'll probably bypass that to go to
Right.
Rose.
Right. Yeah.
So, I just don't know how much of interaction Rose Lake would have. Now that we have the boat launch. I mean, I don't know about walking trails, because we have some walking trails here that we'd rather do.
Isn't the, between bathroom and 69 on Woodbury, at the top of the hill where everybody goes and bikes, isn't that technically part of Rose Lake as well?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of people that go there
Right.
that come right in off the highway. I mean, you know. I wonder if something along the lines
A
of,
lot of bikes that go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but the signage that we have, you know, from Sleepy Hollow leading to here,
Maybe there's some more signage on the road, say Laingsburg.
We just
8
did the
miles.
one in front of, the one that's there right now in front of the,
That's
like, how it's brand new.
Right.
The
mhm,
new one there, but like as far as,
Do the
rest
opposite
of
by
them,
rows.
yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's something that we can look at is. We have to talk to the road commission and see if we can get some type of signage up there.
well, I wonder if we'd be able to do this, the same thing, because like when you pull out of, you pull out of Sleepy Hollow, there's a large sign that has.
Yep.
That says Laingsburg. I wonder if we could do a similar thing at that particular spot right
Yeah.
at the top of the hill. You know, people exit.
That's something we can definitely. Be something to look at.
Medium.
I would say so.
I mean, 1 to 5 years, but we'll knock it out by then.
Yeah, kind of look at the demographic there too, though. I guess Sleepy Hollow, it's like, yeah, come to Langford, yeah. Ice cream, we've got,
which we do, we advertise out there and we send them.
yeah,
Our
I mean-
website and all activities that are going on.
but that demographic typically is children.
Yeah. Yeah.
Rose Lake, you're probably more like fitness, nature.
Yep.
Demographic. Not sure that they're looking to have a,
Boat launch, we could advertise the
Yeah.
boat launch, the nature trail.
that for sure, yeah.
That and the restaurants, and really anyone, there's anybody outside.
Well, I do with the furry wigs, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, cause there's a lot of bikes, but there's also, I mean, that lot is utilized during hunting season. I see plenty of,
Horseback riding.
yep, that's right.
Mhm.
Yep, see random Jeeps out there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you know, so, it might be more, I mean, we say we see people out there with bikes all the time, which is true, but it might be a more diverse group than we might. Think.
It's really nice. We've hiked it a few times. So I mean, we see people out there who are bird watching, and there's people jogging, walk. Yeah, it is a diverse group. It's a diverse piece of property.
Yeah,
It's
it is.
expensive too. Yeah.
It really is, yeah.
And we don't have hiked all of it.
And that's what, we don't have a lot of that out, like the extensive of the property along trail, but bird watching definitely. They can go a lot of places here. For that, so.
One item to consider for future use, and I don't think it's ready for prime time, and it's a little bit of a stretch, but the West Speedway and the investment that's going on there is going to create a.
Yeah.
Best short track in North America, and that draws people in,
Huge.
in helicopters, like
Money.
spurs, under, he poured 16 acres of concrete last year, and so, that is going to be a very big draw. And in the grand scheme of things, we're really close to them and could figure out how to leverage that proximity.
Uh-huh.
People that might not want to go to other areas, or they're just looking for a little bit of a stretch and they want to get away, they want to launch a kayak or something like that, to still be close enough to the race and the camping and staying for the weekend, and so that's just one that it's going.
The next one, I'm gonna talk about a little bit already today, but utilizing the natural resources present in the city, such as Looking Glass River, and developing infrastructure to provide water and trail access. I know this is ongoing. You're already doing some of it,
Mhm.
with the boat launch, but I definitely think there's still
Or
hope, for sure.
I mean, I'd say short term to midterm, just so we can start to. Now we can grab what else is. Out there that we can. I think one of the less utilized things that we have is the sportsman. You can talk to them, it's like, all right, what can we do to help you? What can we do to have those people come to town?
That'd be interesting something to market with the DDA, like get them like, oh, hey, if you're out here, come downtown and.
Yeah.
Some sort of a perk. Cross merchandise with cross market.
Definitely.
Continually review inventory of city-owned lands and determine how lands can be used to meet needs of city, needs of the city. Yeah.
That's always. I know.
They have review, update, and maintain the amenities provided in city parks with an emphasis on facilities that would be unique to Laingsburg for all visitors.
I mean, I know we have a cycle of rotation of getting new equipment stuff, but I mean, it's always ongoing.
They have improved the physical image of the city along key entry points to draw guests to the city.
Getting the signs are placed.
I'd say short, ongoing. New signs, better flowers. Prettier looking entrance space.
Creating a gateway into the city. So
Yeah.
people know
Yeah,
how it's done.
kind of cool. You can make a physical goal. Town and country
Connected.
city transits.
You mean for dollars?
There you go.
They took out.
I was like, we didn't have that slogan.
No. Change.
What is their full name? Not as cool as where the city meets the
Not
contract.
going, not school.
I always thought that was the word.
They
It's kind of cool.
Not as catchy as that, so obviously they can't remember it.
Bring it up to city council and change it up.
Yeah, please update with other jurisdictions and entities that focus on encouraging economic development in Shiawassee County.
I'd say short to mid. And ongoing, it's just, obviously, we got the chambers here now, so that's a big part of it.
Okay, we have promote and encourage adaptive reuse of buildings in the city by developing flexible zoning. regulations.
Ongoing.
Okay, moving on to infrastructure. Pursue public investment in downtown and regional service area and buildings. And the use of those publicly owned properties for regional purposes. Property ongoing. Monitor the need for a municipal water system and seek out funding for the implementation of such.
We seen that will happen.
See this one, maybe
There's a grant they come along. We have-
Long term, yes, this would be probably the 10 to plus years.
Yes, that's what I see.
What's the nearest big water filtration? Would it be Owasso?
I think Elsie, isn't Elsie Road? Very,
Yeah.
very.
I was just reading a couple articles that Eagle's really trying to discourage smaller water filtration plants. They just want a couple big ones to push water out to communities.
You're gonna
Exactly.
somebody to manage it, everyone and so forth.
And have one state of the art facility with high capacity to serve all the smaller municipalities.
We're up running the pipe trade along the gas lines.
Yeah.
They got it figured out already, so it's not a bad idea.
How prohibitive has that been, for development in the past as far as folks?
It has its snag ups some bigger businesses look at it, and we just don't have.
Really?
Yeah. But be nice if we had it, so like behind bars, instead of residential's, we could probably had some type of commercial park or something back there, but.
That was one of the things, according to that developer, that was so cost prohibitive, was having to drill individual wells for each.
So. Maybe I didn't. Still more where we put it, just the cost of that.
Oh, I'm just long term, just, yeah.
But hey, if that grant comes up,
Yeah, we're waiting.
$5 million, let's get it.
It's usually grants that want to fix what you have, not
Yeah.
put new ones up. Haven't seen.
We have, when repairing or replacing the roads in the city, invest in the addition of bike lanes or multi-use paths to promote not motorized transportation.
Do we look at bike lane when we do this, CFP?
Yeah, but
Also walking path, but. Necessarily, we have like.
Right. Midterm?
Yeah, we'd have to almost look to see if there's room for that.
Yeah, I would
We'd have to
100%
push the
look for
sidewalks
something.
further in the yards.
We have to coordinate with other jurisdictions and entities on the implementation of bike lanes or other non-motorized transportation connecting the city to regional attractions.
Say mid to long.
I was gonna say this could be another long-term work that would involve lots of coordination.
Yeah.
This one fits right in with today, ensure annual review and approval of the capital improvements.
10 years plus.
Okay, foster new linkages such as bike and pedestrian paths to connect the city's downtown to neighborhoods and regional destinations.
I say short to mid, because when we started looking at Woodbury Road, we did the sidewalk in there. We're already looking at trying to connect the city's link and the city stuff together. I don't know what regional destinations we can, but I just don't see that in.
I think this one definitely to start is connecting within the city. So you accomplish that very long term, we try and spread out more.
Right.
We have encouraged that new development, be developed in relation with the future expansion of public infrastructure. Like that's just kind of the best practice. Should always be looking at. Review the existing sidewalk system and determine locations for further expansion. And develop policies that promote new development that is harmonious with existing development structure. And so that's probably another one.
Yeah, yes.
Okay, the last page, and then we are done with this for the night. Parks and Recreation, we have continued to seek funding for the development and improvement of parks, and rec facilities in this.
I don't know.
Assess the amenities provided in city parks to determine, where additional amenities are needed.
Do we have any future plans for expansion of parks?
Not expansion.
Well, assessing the amenities, I mean, we're
Right, I mean, we're always looking at
ongoing.
And then we have maintain an updated 5 years parks and rec plan, to allow for the continued access to grant opportunities. Okay, last category, we have be attentive to trends and modern land uses and encourage regulations and plans be written to accommodate changes.
Yeah.
Probably not, so. Emphasize an effective and efficient development review and permitting process that is user friendly and equitable. This would be reviewing your zoning ordinance to, see what that review process is and if there's any ways to simplify it or make it more straightforward.
Great idea.
Yeah, short term ongoing, plus we gotta get our permit guy back.
Seek out alternative funding sources to meet the goals and objectives established in this plan. Ongoing. Regularly review and update zoning regulations to ensure thoughtful development in alignment with the city's. Be open to coordinate between city departments, multi-jurisdictional authorities, and adjacent communities to share the burden of cost for necessary services. It's also on the like one. And lastly, encourage public involvement in the decision-making process by following best practices from the city's adopted public participation. That's also ongoing. So that was the bulk of what we needed to get through tonight for the master plan. We will be coming back next month. It was supposed to be every other month, but we're supposed to be here in December and it got pushed to January, so now we're coming back next month. And when we come back, we will be giving you a full draft of the master plan to start to review and look through. That's exciting. As I said, after today's meeting, you guys can continue to think about the stuff we talked about. If you think of any other ideas or something that just didn't seem right, that you really want to get talked about more, or us to, feel free to let me know. We also can talk about it at next month's meeting too, so the whole purpose of next month's meeting is to just review the draft master plan. The only other thing I had for you guys is if you guys have any good pictures you maybe want to include in the master plan, please send them my way. We've come out and we've taken pictures of the community that we've used in the plan so far, but it's always nice. I mean, you guys live here, so you can get photos of the sunset, sunrise, public events happening, any of those things are always nice to me. Other than that, that's all I had for the master plan today.
So thank you so much for putting all of this together and walking us through it.
I will not be here at the next meeting. But
Take a move.
I'll see if I can zoom in. Maybe I'll be in Columbia, so. All
right.
That'll just depend on the access.
Right.
So out of talking about all this, I mean, we touched on the zoning a lot. I mean, that came up a lot. So who is the zoning
We
board?
currently don't have one now. The zoning administrator, you mean? That we look.
The board or, I mean, who?
Well, the building inspector is also our zoning administrator. Right now we don't have one.
Oh.
We're in the process of hiring, so.
I mean, is there
A board, there is.
Yeah, we
like
have a
that?
board, yeah,
there's the board?
yeah.
So who holds the board accountable? Who says, okay, we need to, if this is in our master plan for the city. Who says, okay, zoning board, we need these things.
Well, the
reviewed?
zoning board basically only approves.
The ZBA. Or do you guys have a specific zone?
Yeah, I'm talking about the ZBA,
Okay.
yes. So they just only
Typically,
approve.
yeah, you see them in connection to your variance request.
Yeah.
You guys are the lucky ones.
Yeah.
Who develop zoning regulations.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yep.
Yeah, just like the property maintenance and, yeah. So, yeah, I mean, if we did an overhaul of our zoning, it would, yeah, that's.
Yeah, and you could do that in a couple different ways. You could go about it and do, small amendments here and there and tackle things little by little, or you could do a bigger, larger overhaul of your zoning ordinance that would be kind of similar to the process we just went through with the master plan, where you tackle, come to one meeting and we look at a couple chapters and,
It's the
continue our
same
way.
thing like with our ordinance. It's
Yeah.
like our ordinance should be updated. That one's probably way worse than the zoning. It's just so old.
I mean, I feel like you guys have zoning ordinance when it was originally adopted, but it's getting up there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would be
Which would
interested
be
to
great if I
know.
could find a grant for that. Cause that will be under.
Yeah.
I'd be interested to know when each of those were adopted.
The ordinances was
I'm sure.
beginning of time.
They're
the
listed
zoning-
online, right? It'll say right on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a, what can I say? And that's a big sense
Yeah.
of doing that, but a lot of people are doing this right now. Because they're so outdated. The zoning, I think, is a little bit more.
I wanna say it was like 2,000 maybe.
I'm thinking it would probably win all the new subdivisions, it probably were like, might as well just update it to it now. Oh,
Is that something that as a planning commission, we could take our zoning ordinance and say, once a month, we're gonna look at a single
take that apart.
piece of it. See, make sure that it's reflective of the master plan, or every other month we'll grab one, you know, it's not. And then, yeah, it might take us 2 years, but if it was a continuing thing,
Yeah.
that. We're not saying we're making a change to it, but we're just reviewing it. Once a month, that would be, we'd all be well versed in it
Yeah,
That's true.
eventually,
yeah.
big one.
It's not easy. I mean, I read stuff and I'm like, oh my gosh, what's that mean? I don't even know what that means. You know? Cause that's one thing that I was working on because with the property maintenance going into effect, this is the file for Mike and Son's property out there on Grand River. So cause I was like, I know there's lots of things that are zoning is terrible, he's not following. So, and I knew that through hearsay, people talking, that it never really got proved totally. So I pulled up the folder and started going through it and went, oh my gosh, like it's insane. So I sent it to Spicer and said, can you like help me? So I just got a report from them of pretty much everything, where we are with it. So I will probably put it done next month. Cause it definitely needs to be looked at, and if we're gonna do this property maintenance, he's one of the ones that we.
I feel like we're in a really tricky situation, because with that property maintenance, we've got almost zero community engagement.
Yeah.
We passed it based off what the community, the vocal portion of the community been asking for, which we did, but when they started enforcing it,
Yeah.
I feel like with my concerns, it's gonna be tricky, like that is one you probably gonna maybe want some legal opinions on, just because it's been an established use for so long, and
Yeah.
it's been not in compliance for so long, it kind of gets tricky. It's like, what rights, does he have as
Yeah,
for being there
I
so long
agree, 'cause-
versus,
yeah, I read the report and I'm like, oh my gosh, been a lot, like 2010.
Yeah.
And we didn't do anything, like we didn't ask for, like he was supposed to give us a site plan and just never happened, and it just got tabled and dropped and I'm like, oh, this is gonna be a mess.
Right, well, and he's close to the floodplain for the river too.
Well, that's another thing, he had to have testing done before, and I'm like, is that an ongoing thing that he needs to have done all the time? Cause he's so close to looking glass and,
I'm shocked, because I know at least one, and it's benefited us when we're doing roads at work, gravel roads, because I know a couple guys who have millings who need to get them off their property.
Yeah.
'Cause
yeah,
they can't have big piles of, because.
well, that's,
environmental
he's only
impact.
supposed to have
It's
10
controlled it.
10 cubic foot of any pile, yeah,
There's,
and it just keep getting higher and higher, and the trucks keep getting bigger and closer to the road, and I'm just like he had the one right next to the road, just kind of in there cockeyed, and I'm like, I know you're not supposed to do that. So, yeah, it's gonna be tricky to find. I mean, I figured we could blame it on the new guy, like he came in and saw that this was.
Sure.
But yeah, I thought we should start somewhere, so. Might be, but once we did the lawyer that we hired for the rental. Maybe we can hire him to look at that too. See if we get more on it. Yeah, I feel like. If we start this property maintenance, well, that'll be the first thing, I think people are gonna be like, well, what about them? What if that looks like crap, dude?
That's not fair to me, why can't they do it?
Right.
it'd be nice if we could get the zoning administrator to help enforce that.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, and I mean, he did, it. One of the ones that Jamie on the RFP asked, I'm the one who's gonna be, writing tickets. I said, no. He's like, okay, well, that, kids he's putting together is. If I gotta go write the tickets and he's probably, it's gonna cost you more if I gotta do that, so. But, yeah. we'll see. That one. Who's actually. Around trade.
One's better than none.
Yeah. I don't think-
Anything else?
Thank you for the copy.
Yes.
Looks like you guys have an extra one, so. You don't know what it serves. Someone will work on this weekend.
Adjourned.
Whoever gets the first ticket for the maintenance, gets the cop, right?